This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. My name is Emery Gillespie, and I'm the pastor at the Presbyterian Church in Monticello, Iowa. Today's passage is from the Gospel of Matthew. It is the series of parables that Jesus told, and they're all sort of clustered together very quickly. We have the parable of the mustard seed, which I'm sure many of you remember, the story that the kingdom of heaven is like the smallest seed there is that grows into a large tree. The kingdom of heaven is like a woman who is making bread with a lot of yeast. The kingdom of heaven is like a person who finds a treasure in a field. The kingdom of heaven is like a merchant who is looking for fine pearls and finds the best pearl of all and sells everything else that he has in order to purchase this pearl. Each one of these parables is a gem. It's a whole world in and of itself with twists and turns and what does it mean. So I thought it would be nice to just look at the pearl story for a moment. I'm wearing my pearls. These are the ones my sister brought me back from China, and I've got my other little pearls that I got from Montreat when I went there a year ago. A merchant, he buys the finest pearl, uses everything that he has to purchase this exquisite pearl. Amy Jill Levine, who's the professor for New Testament at Vanderbilt University, she is Jewish and is an expert in these parables, and she talks about how she took a group of students with her to the prison there near Nashville to study this parable. What does it mean to you? She asked the students there and the people who were on death row. What does this parable of the pearl mean to you? What is your pearl? She asked. What is it that means enough to you you'd be willing to change your entire life to have it? She said one of the students, a woman, said that it was getting her doctorate, that she'd married someone who had gotten his degree and now she was a minister's wife, and he didn't want her to study herself. So she was studying kind of on her own, sort of not going to school really officially, but picking up books here and there and some online classes. She wanted to get her doctorate in religious studies. And eventually she did. But she said it cost her her marriage, it cost her the life that she had. But she said it was worth it. She'd thought about it for a long, long time, and it was worth it to her. One of the prisoners said, freedom. His freedom. He was willing to do whatever it took to be free. Another one mentioned safety. That was the great pearl for him. It's interesting how when we simply ask the question, what is of greatest value to you? What matters more to you than anything else. It's interesting how that opens up our minds and our imagination. Simply thinking about, just stopping and thinking about what matters more to you in life than anything else. And Dr. Levine talked about being in her car and driving away from this prison and seeing all the barbed wire fences behind her as she drove away. And she talked about how so much about this parable, the truth of it, the truth of all of these parables, is discovering again that what we have in this moment is in fact what we value. That there is something in this particular little moment, just as we ask that question, that opens the world to us. Our minds can breathe. We can experience in our minds freedom. We can experience exhilaration. We can experience learning. We can experience love. We can experience the greatness of this world. How many times Jesus says, so much like his ancestors, if you consider something small, it can open up a world to you. There's a phrase that we often hear with people who are online, doing emails and texting and some of those other social media, and it's FOMA or FOMA, which means fear of missing out. People will say, oh, I have a terrible sense of, FOMA, a fear of missing out, that something wonderful is happening somewhere else, and I'm stuck here in a prison. I'm stuck here. I'm not at the party. I've got this fear that something great is happening and I'm missing out. These parables, in a way, help to reboot us or reset us to embrace the world we have right now. A world of people cutting grass across the street and cicadas in the trees and the frogs that I've been hearing and the comet that's in the sky that we'll be able to see in a couple of hours. Embracing the life that's right here, that you've got right now. The kingdom of heaven is there, around you, even this moment, breaking in, bringing you peace, bringing you inspiration, bringing you presence of joy. I'll be taking a 2-week break, and then I'll be back sometime in the middle of August with some more of these sermons. I hope some of you are getting an opportunity to be out in the world, which is wonderful healing, seeing some good movies, distancing with some friends, outside, cup of coffee, maybe playing a little golf or fishing or something. Some way to experience what this merchant did. Experiencing the joy of purchasing the finest pearl. Amen.